They are specifically deciding to splinter the communities of common interest, as well as just blatantly say we are going to dilute minority voices. So we know that the courts, ever since we've had a Voting Rights Act, have always found this state to be intentionally discriminatory. That is what they are going to do. So I need people of color to understand that the scheme of the Republicans has consistently been to make sure that they mute our voices so that they can go ahead and have an oversized say in this. So I fully anticipate that's exactly where they're going with this map. It's the only way to do it. We didn't understand how we got to the map that they gave us last time because that state was grown by 95% people of color. They went out of their way to make sure that we got 0 new seats for people of color.
Hey, good afternoon, YouTube. So I wanted to bring you guys a video regarding all this chaos in Texas. So right now, just kind of let's take a step back and get a little bit of the history of the situation and how many reps and all of those things. So we know there are 435 House of Representatives in our Congress. Of that 435, 150 are from Texas. Texas is a huge state, and we know that House reps are basically representation of the particular state, right? So Texas has 150 members, and right now Governor Abbott is basically attempting to gerrymander the maps in Texas to isolate and suppress the votes of Black and brown people. And so the House Democrats decided to flee the state. They basically left the state so they can't vote on this effort. And Governor Abbott is making threats and saying what he's going to do if they don't return to the state so that they can vote. And the reason that Texas House reps decided to leave, because of course they don't want to vote on the redistricting of the maps, because Texas has been largely known as a state that draws maps to suppress votes of Black and brown people and, you know, basically to eliminate their voices. Texas House Republicans and Governor Abbott, they're doing this so that Republicans can stay in power, because apparently Donald Trump called and said that he needs the maps to be redrawn so that the Texas House Republicans can have 5 more seats. And those 5 seats are not the way that they're going to accomplish that is by gerrymandering and basically eliminating voices of Black and brown people. And of course, Texas House Representatives don't want to be involved in that, so they are leaving the state so that they can't vote on the effort. And I think it's pretty disgusting, because you have to remember Republicans are well aware that they can't just win votes based off their policies. And because you are supposed to be a representation of the American people, you're supposed to win them over with your policies, with your plans to better their lives. And Texas House Republicans and Governor Abbott and Donald Trump, they're not interested in doing that. They're not interested in winning. They're not interested in winning people over with policies and telling them how they're going to increase their lives and better their lives. They just want to redistrict the maps to eliminate certain voices, and they're eliminating the voices of Black and brown people. I'm really happy that Texas House Democrats are deciding to leave the state, and this is the way that they're protesting. I'm not exactly sure how long they can keep this up, because remember, they can't use any of the funding, any of their House rep funding, because they're basically fleeing the state. So they are responsible for any financial obligations that they incur at this time. It's the reason why they need support from their constituents. They need support from the public at large, because they are now having to endure the financial, like anything that they incur financially, they are 100% responsible for it, because they are leaving the state and they are fleeing the state and they are not voting on this effort. Governor Abbott is known. There's been a lot of issues historically with Governor Abbott and complaints that he is intentionally and maliciously suppressing the vote of certain communities, people who are not Republican, and normally, historically, those people are Black and brown. And so instead of trying to win those people over, instead of trying to speak to those people and educate those people, or not even educate those people, really put policies and procedures and things out that's going to help them and better their lives and win their vote over that way, he don't want to do that. He just want to suppress their vote. My fave, Jasmine Crockett, had already had a conversation regarding this. She did a press conference not too long ago, and I'm going to insert the clip where she basically talked about, and I'm going to let her speak to it a little bit more. You guys should have already seen the clip because I'm going to put the clip in the beginning of the video, and she basically talked about how Texas is historically a state that suppresses the voices of people that they don't value and people that don't vote Republican. And so historically, Texas has been known to do this, and it's what Governor Abbott and Donald Trump is doing right now. It's a lot going on, and I want to make sure you guys kind of read and research yourselves to make sure you understand everything that's going on. What I know right now, because everything is still developing, I'm still researching, I'm still watching the news, still reading things about it. But what I do know for sure is that Texas has historically been known to suppress the voices and the votes of certain groups. And those groups are groups that traditionally vote Democrat. Those groups are black and brown people. And that's what Governor Abbott and Donald Trump appears to be doing now. We know that in Georgia, Donald Trump basically tried to do the same thing when he made the call. I think it was his first impeachment. I don't know if his first impeachment was regarding the phone call with Zelensky, or it was the when he basically literally said, I need 11,780 votes. So regarding that impeachment as well, he never was convicted, so he never was removed from office or anything like that. But he did have 2 impeachments in his first term, and one of the impeachments was basically because he called government officials in Georgia and basically said, come on, you guys, I need 11,780 votes. It was unsuccessful in Georgia because a lot of the Republicans in Georgia, they stood up. They stood for our democracy. They stood for, our voting rights and our voting credibility and all of those things, which was great because they fought for democracy. They fought for the betterment of the country and not for a particular man. Governor Abbott, we know, is a huge Donald Trump supporter. And so when Donald Trump made that call that he wanted the maps to be kind of redrawn so that the Republicans can get 5 more seats in the House for Texas, Governor Abbott apparently was all for it. And that's what they're doing now. And so Governor Abbott is deciding to redistrict and redraw the maps in this gerrymandering attempt because Donald Trump basically instructed him to do so. House Democrats from Texas are saying that they don't want to participate in any of this, so they're leaving the state. Governor Abbott is making threats saying what he's going to do because they're decided to leave the state and not vote for this effort. And it's a lot of back and forth. The Democrats are fighting. That's the one thing, because I was telling you guys before, I was very disappointed in the Democrats because I felt like they were rolling over. They are fighting. They're making a lot of attempts. I'm not exactly sure what the end game is going to be because you have to think about this and take this into consideration. Right now, the House reps from Texas, the Democrats, they are on their own financially. They can't use their contributions from their constituents or whomever under their official title because they're now responsible for any financial expenses that they incur. So how long are they going to be able to keep that up? Because everybody, a lot of these people are not millionaires. They don't have the resources and the money to continue to fight without our support. Now, one thing that I am proud of is our governor from Illinois, Pritzker. He's helping financially because he's a billionaire. And so he's helping financially with his resources. Apparently other governors that are Democrats are helping, and they're advocating and fighting and being proponents of this effort for the Texas Democrats. So it's a lot going on. We just have to see what happens. And this is at least with the Democrats, because like I said, I don't know what the ending is gonna be, but at least they're fighting. At least they seem to understand that they have to do something. They have to do something to kind of fight for their constituents. There's people voices who will, their voices will be eliminated because of these redistricting and redrawing of the maps. And so Texas House Democrats have to fight for their constituents, because this is something their constituents are not going to be happy about. However, like I said, when it comes to finances, we can have different governors and different, senators or whomever want to help with the cause, but for how long? How long can they keep this up? I'm not exactly sure. We're going to pay very close attention to everything that's going on. I'm going to insert those clips. I'm going to insert those clips in the beginning of the video. Of Jasmine Crockett speaking to what Governor Abbott is doing. I think it's pretty disgusting to eliminate people's voices, to suppress people's voices because they don't agree with your policies, instead of making more inclusive policies and policies that's for the betterment of all those people. Instead of doing that, you rather just eliminate their voices. I think that's pretty disgusting. But I'm proud of the House Democrats from Texas continuing to fight, and we'll see how everything goes. I want you guys to like, comment, and subscribe, and thank you very much for watching the video, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.